welcome to the first edition of the Hornet Spotlight for the year 2017. We hope that your holiday season has been a very festive and enjoyable one, and we look forward to getting back to school and starting second semester and starting the year of 2017 off right. Just remember the main thing that's going on in January and February now are sports activities. We have some really successful athletics going on right now. The girls basketball team is at this time is like 11-1. They're playing very good basketball. The boys basketball team has a winning record. The wrestling team was second in the Marion County championships last week, which is their best finish in 10 years. The swimmers were sixth in the Marion County championships, which is a tremendous finish for them. Come out and see the athletes. They're doing a tremendous job, and they're really representing Beech Grove High School very well. Mr. English and the athletic department should be commended for putting together a really nice winter sports program for us to enjoy, and hopefully you'll be able to come in and see those student athletes as they compete through January and February before it warms up and we can go outside and enjoy some nice weather. We're also starting a new year with our Hall of Fame. The Renaissance Committee has selected a Hall of Famer for the month of January, and it is my pleasure to welcome Rick Such, class of 1987, to the Hornet Spotlight today and congratulate him on being selected as our alumnus of the month. So, Rick, class of 1987, that goes back, what, more years than we care to count, almost 30 years.
I'm hoping I can remember some details.
Okay, well, that's what I'm going to ask you for. Tell us, you've already shown that you remember sitting in this room many times as a student,
right,
as a band student. Mm-hmm. You also mentioned you had a lot of interest in the drama when you were here. Mm-hmm. You had a lead in one of the productions. Tell us a little bit about the music, the fine arts, the things that you were interested in at that time, and I think we're going to see a connection to what you're doing now.
Well, like most kids in band, marching band was something I really loved. So, obviously we did stage band and we had jazz band and different elements, but I really loved the marching season. I was a percussionist. I was in the pit. I mainly played xylophone, marimba, things like that. And I took private lessons for it. I was really into music. Music's something it's carried with me through my life because I now own a production facility, audio production facility, and that, some of the music training I've had in my past has really helped me, with my career. I was also involved in the drama department. I really enjoyed the stage productions. I had the lead in a couple of plays here, and if I wasn't, acting, I was in the pit band, or maybe even part of the stage crew. I just really enjoyed being a part of those productions.
And at that time, who was band director at that time?
It was Jim Williams.
Mr. Williams was the band director then, and who was leading drama at that time?
Mr. Osborne.
Okay.
You remember Mr. Osborne?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'd forgotten he did that.
Yeah.
So two names from the past there. So you had pretty good instruction in those areas, I would believe, at that point in time.
They were both great. Everyone here at the school was great. If you ask me who a favorite teacher was, I probably couldn't tell you because I liked them all. I really enjoyed the staff, the faculty here when I was a student. But my heart lies with music and the arts, and Jim Williams was a mentor, and Mr. Osborne was a great drama teacher as well.
You graduated in 87, and from the high school, did you pursue some education? Did you go to the workforce? What kinds of things did you do once you left here?
I went on to Ball State University, studied telecommunications there. I also studied music engineering technology. Didn't even know about that program. It was kind of a hush-hush program that was a part of the School of Music, but I found out about it my junior year. And it was actually a more intense study of audio production as opposed to what they were teaching in TCOM at the time at Ball State. So weaseled my way into some classes there. That was an intense program. If I would have majored in that, I would have had to have a minor in music education. I would have had to have a minor in physics. So there was a lot to it, plus the major in music engineering. But I didn't want to extend my education another 2 years. So because I didn't find out, like I said, I didn't find out about it until my junior year. But I learned a lot through those programs. And then from I had an internship advisor. His name was Dave Smith, who was also kind of well known in this area. He used to be somebody that was involved with Channel 8. I don't know if you remember this, but Dave Smith, he used to have a segment on Wish TV called When Movies Were Movies.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do remember that.
Yeah, and he was my internship advisor at Ball State, and he got me connected to a recording studio here in Indy called Caboose Productions. So I did an internship with Caboose Productions in the summer of '91. Was it the summer of '90? Yeah, I'm trying to remember the dates. And then I had to go back to school for a semester. But they told me that to keep in touch because they had an engineer that was leaving. They knew he was going to be leaving, towards the end of the year. And probably a couple of months after, like say in October of that year, I was still finishing up school. They hired me. So I had a job, a week after, in exactly what I wanted to do, a week after graduating from Ball State. So it was just, I couldn't have asked for a better scenario. So I worked at Ball State I worked at Caboose Productions for 10 years, and then a guy that I worked with there, Bryce Bowman, he's my business partner now, he and I left Caboose to start Earshot Audio Post. The other studio, Caboose, was kind of going in some different directions in terms of what they wanted to offer, and we wanted to stay true to audio production. So we left and started our own place, and we've been doing that for 15 years.
Now, when you were at Ball State, TCOM, they're kind of nationally renowned. Do you feel, is that the reason you chose Ball State and specifically that program?
When I was a student here at Beech Grove, we had a TCOM department. It was kind of the early days of the telecommunications department. It was run by Mike Hale. I don't know if you remember Mike. Mike was the instructor here. He left and eventually went on to St. Vincent, and sadly he passed away. He had some form of cancer, probably maybe 10 years after I graduated. But Mike brought in Alan Richardson from Ball State, who was a professor there, to see our program. He was blown away by the program here at Beech Grove. How we used to run I don't know if you still do this or not, but we had a student-run news production. It happened every day.
It's called Swarmed.
Huh?
It's called Swarmed.
Okay. All right. We just called it WABG.
Right. When I first came here, I remember the sign.
Yeah. And so, but he came down to see what we did, was really impressed, talked to us, told us about Ball State, told us about the new facility that they were building there at the time for telecommunications, and that kind of hooked me. He invited me up to visit current students at Ball State and get involved in an AE-Rho function, which AE-Rho is Alpha Epsilon Rho. It was a TCOM fraternity at the time, and I just got real sucked into the whole Ball State culture, and ended up going to school there.
Now that was post-Letterman, right?
Oh, yeah.
Before he hit it big, though. He kind of a tweener before his money started flowing in.
Well, he was, it was 80, he was 87, so he was on the air at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was already pretty well known.
He was making a name for himself,
Yeah.
and then the money started coming into telecom.
They were already proud of him. And as a matter of fact, my first year at Ball State was the year that Letterman funded their student-run radio station. So I got involved with that from the ground up, and I eventually became the student manager of that station. So.
And that, what kind of experience was that for you?
It was a good experience. I mean, we ran it ourselves. We had a faculty advisor. It was mostly fun, just nobody was listening, at the time, because it was a carrier current station. Carrier current meaning they had like transformers or transmitters, in each of the dorms, and it worked by carrier current, which means when you plug your radio into the wall, that's how the signal came through. It wasn't actually an over-the-air signal. But now it's progressed. Now they bought out one of the local high schools' transmitters, and now they're an FM station, and they've got an incredible facility. They have the Letterman building now.
Right.
Letterman obviously funded in a brand new building there that they use, and it's beautiful. So I missed all of that, but
You're kind of in between.
yeah.
And so a lot of college kids nowadays don't have it. I mean, you're fortunate if you can walk into an area, especially such as a specialized area like yours, and walk right into the kind of job you're looking for. So you were pretty fortunate there and made the right choice, it sounds like.
Well, having been a business owner for the last 15 years, I get emails all the time from people. I get resumes and emails from students who are looking to do internships, which we do provide internships on occasion. It depends on our workflow. But you're right. It's a tough business to get into. The business has changed so much since I started in it, 25 years ago. With the internet and technology, there's a lot of people, especially in the world of music, which we don't do. Our business is mostly post-production, so we're doing audio for television, for radio, for documentaries, for films, a lot of voiceover work, that sort of thing. But on the music side of things, it's the business. There's really, like in a city like Indianapolis, where it's not a big hub for music, like a Nashville or a New York or Chicago or L.A., there's not a lot of opportunities for people to go into studios because so many people are doing stuff in their garage or in their basements. Technology's made it such that people are recording their albums at home and their own studios, putting together their own studios.
Well, I noticed on some of the stuff you sent me, you've worked with a lot of almost every major network. Tell us a little bit about how specifically that works for you guys. What exactly are you doing?
Well, we're an independent production facility. We're in Indianapolis, so it does seem strange that we would have opportunities to work for NBC, Fox, for ABC Sports and ESPN. Who else? We've done some work for CBS. We've done work for HBO, Discovery Channel. And sometimes we get involved in those things because, say, that there's a talent, like there's an on-air personality or somebody that comes into town. So I'll rewind a little bit. Like back in 2012 when the Super Bowl was here, we got a call from NBC. They were looking for a backup studio to do like overflow work when their production trucks got overloaded. Because when they're here in town during those couple of weeks, they're constantly out. Their shooters are out shooting B-roll. Their shooters, and shooting stories. They've got, all the stories are developing during that 2-week timeline. After the two teams make it, from the, to the Super Bowl, they're focusing in on the players, the personalities, the stories, the coaches. So a lot of that came here. So because obviously this is where the Super Bowl was. So we got a call about 3 weeks out saying, would you guys be willing to help us out with some backup work? And we said, sure. They said it might be 1 or 2 or 3, feature stories that we will need you to mix. They would supply us all the elements, and then we would just provide a mix for them and do sound design or what was needed for that project. Well, a week out, they called us and said, it's really going to expand because our truck's really overloaded. We've got a ton of work, and you're probably looking at 7 or 8, maybe 9 features. So it's like, okay, we were starting to batten down the hatches because we're a small facility. We're 4 people. And then
overtime that week.
And then as the week progressed, I think they pretty much handed over almost every feature to us. We ended up doing probably 18 or 20 features, and all those features ran between like noon and 6. And we also mixed the opening tease, which is a big thing. It's generally where they put a lot of. It's the thing you see. It's the piece you see right before the game starts. It's the one that kind of sucks you in and gives you the scoop on what you're about to see. And so that was. But anyway, through that relationship, we continued to work for NBC. We've done work for all the horse races, like Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont. We've done, when NBC did the Olympics in, I think it was 2014, they reached out to us to do some work for that as well. Or no, it was 2012 when the Olympic, whenever it was. We did a couple of features for that. So, but yeah, it was one of those things. And actually, they just called us a couple days ago. They just out of the blue, they fed us a feature that we did for the old Bengals coach Sam Weish. They were doing some story on him for Thursday Night Football. So we worked on that pretty much all night. Just when it comes in, you drop what you're doing and you just go to work. Whatever it is you had planned for the evening, forget it.
You just not good. Do you have all the stuff you've done? And I remember reading you've won Emmys and things of that nature. Do you have a particular favorite piece of work that you guys did that, man, that's the one I really like. That's my.
I don't know. That's a really good question. the work we've done for the Super Bowl was really cool. There was a lot of cool pieces in that. I have a friend who produces documentaries. His name's Dennis Neary, and he's done a couple of documentaries in the past decade, and I enjoyed those because there was a lot of freedom for me. He really trusted me with like doing the score for it, finding the music and doing all the sound design, and I felt like I was sort of a co-producer in those documentaries, and they've run here locally on the PBS stations as well, and one is called Take the River, which is about the history of Southeast Indiana. Another one is called A Blackfeet Encounter, which is about the Blackfeet Indian Nation in Montana, and, up near Glacier National Park. So I think of those, I really enjoyed those projects because I felt like I was really a part of it. A lot of times you get handed a project and you don't have any creative say, and you can make suggestions, but generally it's the producer that's going to tell you how to do it and what to do. Kind of follow their lead and do it to their specifications. But in this case, I got to run with it in terms of a lot of the audio production and creative aspect of it. So those are fun.
Okay, and you got a big deal coming up in a week or so that's going to test the limits of your organization and flexibility at work. Tell us a little bit what's going to go on here in a week or so.
Well, I'm getting married.
And this young lady surely understands the job and that type of thing. Do you foresee any type of changes in lifestyle there, other than the obvious?
No, she and I have been together for almost 7 years, and my father passed away a few months ago. So it was just after my dad passed away. It was obviously an emotional time, but I don't know what it was about. It seemed like that was the catalyst that made us think maybe we should be together. Maybe we should finally get married. So we thought, if we're going to do it, let's just do it.
So you are.
So a few months later, here we are. We're about to do that. So no changes, and she's the most patient, caring person I've ever met. So she understands my job. She knows I have to work late sometimes. So there's usually no issue there.
Well, congratulations on your wedding, upcoming wedding. You just spurred one other question. This is the last one, I promise.
Yeah.
In your work, you talk about doing the studio with the technology, and they send you all the types of things you basically need to do your job. Are you ever able to get out and get on site and visit some of these locales and do anything like that?
Which locales are you talking about?
Some of the things that you do the work for, or does that all just get pumped to your studio?
Oh, you mean, do we do like location audio work?
Right.
Not really. We for the most part, we stay in the studio. Occasionally, we'll get someone will ask us to come on location if a doctor or somebody for a hospital can't get out, and we're doing a hospital spot, for example, and generally the doctor's schedules are really tight, so we'll go to a local hospital. Or I've traveled, I've gone, to different places and just brought a small setup just to record their voiceover to bring back to the studio to work with. But generally we don't offer, we don't really put ourselves out there to do like location recording.
And your studio again is located?
It's Earshot Audio Post, and we're downtown. We just built a brand new facility about a year and a half ago, and we're just off Mass Ave, like up by the current Phoenix Theater. So.
Well, that is our alumnus of the month. Again, congratulations, Rick.
Thank you.
Class of 1987, Rick Such, and we're very happy to have him today, and I think we've made a nice selection to start 2017. Again, you've been watching the Hornet Spotlight for January 2017. We look forward to seeing you next month with another Hall of Fame and a lot more, hopefully, athletic success to talk about.